Hey everybody, Chris.musto from Guaranteed Rate. Here with Kris Dumke from Bridgewater Commercial, and I think funny enough, last time we met, I think we were wearing very similar outfits.
Same laundry day.
Yes, about the same time of day. So, but yeah, we were talking about if you own a property now and you're looking to sell it, an income property, what are some of the things to look for? Like how would you get it ready in order to sell it?
So basically what you want to do is you want to make sure you're getting the most amount of rent possible for your property. Maybe, the tenants have been in there for a long time and you've never raised the rent, so then you're getting the same returns. And the last time we spoke about cap rates and how important the income of a property is, and cap rates and how it affects the purchase price. So in this case, we're talking about the sell price.
Right.
So to keep it real simple, let's say you have a property, a single family home, let's use as an example, and you raise the rent $100 a month. $100 a month times 12 is $1,200 in added income a year. Because in theory, you would already have all of your fixed costs already covered, so you're just adding gravy on top.
Right.
And let's say the market that you're in is at an 8% capitalization rate. So most investors in that market are looking for an 8% return on their money. So that $100 a month, $1,200 a year at an 8% cap rate, in theory would add $15,000 to the value of your property, which is substantial.
It is.
Let's say, but not everyone likes to raise the rent. It's kind of difficult, especially if you maybe only own one or two rental houses and you've got a great relationship with your tenants. So there's a way to kind of navigate around that, and that's maybe add some capital improvements to the property to kind of ease the pain of the rent going up. Maybe, for example, you want to get all new stainless steel appliances in the kitchen. Which then, adds a little bit of value to the property, even if you were to sell it not cash flowing, just as a house in general. But in this situation, you say, hey, we're going to raise the rent $100 a month. We're going to put in some new appliances. So you spend $3,000, $4,000 on new appliances. And the example we just talked about, you increase the value of the property $15,000.
Right.
So that's a pretty great return.
Big return on the investment there.
Right.
So yeah, and this is, I think it's important to note too that this is going to be what investors are going to want to do. So and if you're renting, it can be a touchy thing if you have tenants, because you want to be fair and you like your tenants, and that would be also a good thing you could do in between tenants moving in and out.
Another great example, if you remodeled a house, to get, let's say you put $10,000 in remodel a house, you did the floors, maybe did a light bathroom remodel, you put $10,000, and then you can increase the rent $200 between tenants. Now you've added $30,000 to the value of your property on a $10,000 investment in this example.
Right.
And this principle applies for residential properties, commercial properties. Like if you're looking at let's say a shopping center, they redo the parking lot, maybe they redo some signage and spruce things up a bit. They can get better tenants in there, maybe increase rents a little bit. There's a lot of small things that you can do to really add to the appeal of the property, which then makes the property worth more, not just for a seller, but as a tenant who's looking to rent it, means the value goes up because they're willing to pay more in rent.
So this is a very important concept to understand. If you're going to be really buying or renting, even as a renter, you've got to understand that this is why rents go up over time, because investors need to get a return on their money, and because there's so much leverage in it, just by even small increases in rent, being able to sell the properties for that much more. So I think there's a lot to unpack there. I think one, if you are a renter, it's good to do it, really on a short-term basis. But to get, if you're renting your residence, it's good to, be on a plan to be thinking about purchasing in the future, because, if you don't, rents are just going to keep going up and up and up, because this is a market force that is not going away. Right.
And you bring up an interesting point there, because that is the value of homeownership in this market is, the rent will continue to increase, year over year. So to kind of lock in your rental rate, you can lock in your mortgage,
Right.
and own a home. And that's, a very attractive part of homeownership that a lot of people don't necessarily think about is you keep the same monthly payment over
lots of
Yeah.
time. I mean, even just looking at it, I mean, I've had people say, I mean, not so much in this market, but
Right.
at times in the past, it was maybe a little bit more expensive even to buy a house or a condo than what they were renting. But
Right.
all it takes is a little bit of upward pressure in the market to completely change that dynamic.
Right.
And meanwhile, if they hadn't bought at that time, they wish they had.
Right. Well, and that goes back to where you can help again, is if somebody's looking to add to their portfolio, or maybe they had such success, with their first property and they increased the rents, added a bunch of value to the property, sold it, and they're looking at doing it again, that's where you can help them leverage some of that money, buy maybe a bigger property, bigger house, maybe a couple properties in addition to it, and then kind of do it again. And that's where you look for properties that maybe the rent is below market, maybe it could use some improvements, or everyone's on a month-to-month lease, so there's opportunity to raise rents at day one. So you can add value to a property very, very quickly, and that's where you can come in and help them, secure the financing to make sure that they're making money with your money, and not necessarily the money they just, with the money they just made on their previous sale as well.
Absolutely. So if you are interested in buying property, get with Kris, get with me. We can talk about the financing aspect and put a plan together.
Absolutely.
That makes sense for you. So, Kris, thanks so much.
Thanks for
being
having
here.
me. It was a pleasure.
And thank you, everybody, for watching.